So now we're going to talk about metric prefixes. Now, what do I mean by metric prefixes? Well, so metric, that just refers to the metric system. And that means things like, instead of 1 inch, we have 2.54 centimeters. Or instead of 1 yard, we have 0.91 meters. Or instead of 1 mile, we have 1.609 kilometers. So the centimeters, meters, kilometers, these are all part of the metric system. Now prefixes are just that, the prefixes that go before the metric system. So if the metric system is in meters, then prefixes could be a centi for centimeter, kilo for kilometer, and so on. So these are just the prefixes like centi and kilo, and all the different prefixes that you can put before a metric unit of measurement like meters or grams. And so that's what metric prefixes are. But before I can get into metric prefixes, we need to go over what exponents are and refresh your memory on exponents. So exponents is anytime if you have a number raised to the power of something, this little box, that is the exponent. And so to start you off, I just want to remind you, let's get a baseline here. 10 to the 0, 10 to the nothing is 1. Why is that? Because anything raised to the 0 power is going to be 1. 954,382.6 raised to the 0 power is 1. Anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So that includes 10. Now when we deal with metric exponents, all we have to remember is that they fit inside each other, kind of like a Russian doll scenario, and they can equal each other, just like 100 centimeters equals 1 meter. So exponents metric are all based to the power of 10. So that would be 10 to the 2 centimeters is going to equal 1 meter. And if this confuses you, don't worry, because I'll go into this in more detail in a minute. So we know that 10 to the 0 raised to the 0 power is 1. So if 10 to the 0 power is 1, then 10 to the 1 power is 10. Now 10 to the second power is 100. 10 to the third power is 1,000. And 10 to the fourth power is 10,000. Now do you see a pattern here? Here's the pattern. Whatever this number is, whatever this exponent is that the 10 is raised to, that's how many zeros you're going to have in the answer. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, because it's raised to the fourth power. And since you're dealing with 10, you just carry that 1 on over into the front. So let's look up here. 10 to the second power, that means there's going to be 2 zeros, and you just carry that 1 on over in front. So that's 100. So you could do that with anything. 10 to the 8th power. What's 10 to the 8th power? Well, you carry that 1 on over first, and then you just put 8 zeros behind it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's throw some commas in there so we can read this more easily. So 100 million. 10 to the 8th power is 100 million. So see, you can do that with any number. 10 to the 10th power is going to be a 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 zeros after it. So that's 10 billion. So see, if you just remember that 10 raised to any number is a 1 with that number of zeros behind it. However many zeros is going to be whatever the exponent is. So likewise, when you have a metric unit, let's say grams. Okay, so 1 gram would equal 10 to the 0 grams. Now why is that? Remember, because 10 to the 0, anything to the 0 is going to equal 1. So 10 to the 0 grams equals 1 gram. So that's going to be your baseline, 10 to the 0. So just remember that, that's your baseline, that equals 1. So that 1 could be 1 gram, 1 meter, and so on. Whatever the metric name, whatever the metric unit of measurement is. So we have grams, which is weight or mass. So if you put something on the scale, you're going to get grams in chemistry class. You're going to take the reading in grams. A meter is a unit of measurement, how far something is or how long something is. Length, and so on. So we'll use gram and meter for examples here because these are what you're going to come up with in chemistry. Oh, and also we have liter. There's a liter, and that is volume. If you have 2 liters of soda, that's the volume of soda you have in the bottle. So if we want to talk about 1 liter or 1 meter or 1 gram, we are talking about 10 to the 0 power, which equals 1. So that's your baseline. So remember this. So if 10 to the 0 equals 1, and let's just use gram for an example, 1 gram would be 10 to the 0. So this is your baseline. Now, what if we take this up 1 and we say 10 to the 1? Well, 10 to the 1 is 10. So 10 grams is also called a decagram. And there's the prefix, decagram. So deca means 10 to the 1, or just plain old 10. So let's do another one. 10 to the 2, 10 raised to the second power is 100. Remember why it's 100? Because you take whatever this power, the 10 is raised to, and that's how many zeros is in it. So 100. So 100 grams is equal to a hectogram. So hecto is equal to 10 to the second power, or otherwise known as 100. So let's do another one. 10 raised to the third power is 1,000. So 1,000 grams is equal to 1 kilogram. So kilo is 10 to the third power, otherwise known as 1,000. And then we have 10 to the fourth, or I'm sorry, let's skip ahead and go 10 to the sixth now. There really is no metric equivalent to 10 to the fourth. So 10 to the sixth. So what would that be? A 1 with 6 zeros at the end of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a million. A million grams. And that would be called a megagram. So mega is the same thing as 10 to the sixth, or 1 million. Are you starting to get the idea? Let's do another one. Let's do 10 to the ninth. So 10 to the ninth would be a 1 with 9 zeros after it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1 billion grams is called a gigagram. So giga means 10 to the ninth, or 1 billion. So you notice this pattern here? We have down here, we have 10, means deca. Hecto means 100. Kilo is 1,000. Mega is a million. And giga is a billion. Now that you can see the positive integers from exponents, from positive exponents of tens, now we're going to start doing negative ones. And as I have up here at the top, 10 to the power of 0 equals 1, because anything to the power of 0 equals 1. And so that would be 1 gram, 1 meter, 1 liter, or anything metric. Now, as we've gone over, if you have 10 to the power of, let's say, 3, that just means you carry the 1 over in the front, and then you have 3 zeros following. 1, 2, 3. So 10 to the third is 1,000. Now, what happens when you have 10 to the negative third? Well, 10 to the negative third is going to mean that you still have the 1 and you still have the 3 zeros, just like in this one, but everything's going to be backwards behind the decimal. So instead of 1,000, you're going to have 1, 2, 3 zeros, and then you put the 1 at the end. And then we need to put the decimal point after that first 0 because that's common courtesy if you're going to write a decimal point to have a 0 and a decimal point. Instead of just writing decimal point 001. That's not how you write in math or science. You write 0 decimal point 001. So if you have a 10 to the negative 1, you're going to have 1 0, and you're going to carry that 1 on over. So put the decimal point there because you need that extra 0, you need that 1 0 to be in front of the decimal point. So 10 to the negative 1 is 0.1, and that is called deci. So a decigram, a decimeter, and we don't really use this deci too often, but just so you know, that's a decigram or a decimeter. That's the same thing as 0.1 grams or 0.1 meters. Now let's try another one. 10 to the negative 2. Okay, first we're going to do the zeros. So there's 2 zeros, 1, 2, and then we're going to carry that 1 over to the tail end. 1. Don't forget to put the decimal point after the first 0. So 10 to the negative 2 is 0.01. And that is called centi. So if you have a centimeter or a centigram, that is 0.01 of a meter or 0.01 of a gram. So we've done all the positive ones. Let's just go down the row and do all the negative ones. So we always start with 10 to the 0, and that equals 1 gram, 1 meter, 1 liter, or anything else, just one of it. 10 to the negative 1 is 1 0 and then 1, so 0.1, and that is deci. So that means a decimeter is 0.1 of a meter. Now 10 to the negative 2, that means 2 zeros and then your 1. Let's put the decimal point after that first 0, and that's centi. So a centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. Now let's do 10 to the negative 3. So that's a negative 3, so we're going to have 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll put that 1 at the end. Don't forget the decimal point after that first 0, and that is milli. So a millimeter is 1,000th of a meter. or 0.001 of a meter. Now let's go to 10 to the negative 6. That's going to be 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you put the 1 down. Go back and put that decimal point after that first 0. And that's going to be called a micro. So a micrometer is 0.000001 meters. Now let's go down to 10 to the negative 9th. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 zeros, then the 1. And you want to put that decimal point after that first 0. And that is called a nano. So a nanometer is 0.000000001 of a meter. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense to you, and you can start to memorize. Just try to memorize some of these key prefixes. Like a nano is going to be a negative 9. And just remember, a micro is going to be a negative 6. A milli is going to be a negative 3. And a centi is going to be a negative 2. And a deci is going to be a negative 1 of a meter or a gram. Of a meter or a gram or a liter or whatever the unit of measurement is. Okay, so hopefully that helps. If you have any more questions, please feel free to comment, or you can email me and get a hold of me at my.stlcc.edu, and like and subscribe to the channel here, please. Thanks a lot.